This podcast contains paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, where I discuss how you can grow your business by the bootstraps. This applies to all entrepreneurs, from the person just starting up to the one that is already well established. My goal is to help you grow. I am your host, Isaiah O'Connor. Okay, so we'll start off with today's sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible.com, great place to consume books, but by listening. I'm a busy guy. I do 3 podcasts a week. I'm behind on my blog. I run my own business. I have 2 kids. I'm a busy guy. I don't have time to stop and listen to books, read books, but I do have time to listen when I get chances. I can listen on the way to the store, when I am on a road trip to go do business or whatever. I've got time to listen to books, and so that's how I listen. And that's where I've gathered a lot of my knowledge and understanding about business is from listening to books. So the way I do it is listening to Audible. I've had Audible for well over a decade now, well over 99 books. It's where I go to get my information. Check them out. They're amazing. Audible, $15, $14.99 a month, $15 a month. You get 1 Audible book credit and 2 Audible originals. You keep those forever. And then if you cancel your subscription, by the way, first month is free. 1 free book, 2 Audible originals, free forever. You keep them. If you don't keep the monthly subscription, that's fine. You can still go buy books once in a while without having the subscription. You just have to pay full price. You don't get any discounts. But it's an amazing service. I love it. It's what I ask for my birthday every single year. Go check them out, audible.com. If you use the link in the description below, you will help us out too, which is amazing. So check out Audible. Now, today's podcast is going to be a little bit different. This podcast is a bit of an interview and kind of a bit of a chit-chat between me and Jason St.Clair, who is the founder of Atheoz.com and kind of the brainchild behind this whole podcast, everything else. He runs the Atheoz Business Podcast, also found on the Atheoz website. And so the following is our conversation, and we just talk about business, how to grow, what my plans are, how we find customers, and all that good stuff. Anyway, without further ado, here's Jason and myself.
Let's start with this. What do you do? What is your go-to strategy for getting new customers?
My best go-to strategy is cold calling businesses.
Okay, what do you mean?
Look up a business I think can benefit from my services.
Yep.
Especially when I see new business openings in the mall. Find the person in charge, call them, say, "Hi, do you want balloons?"
Do you find that useful, calling on the phone, or are you approach in person? Which one's more effective for you?
I've had the best results from calling.
Really?
I've had some in person. I've been known to go out and hit the street and just go door to door to door to door, find every single manager. So that I've had some success with that, but primarily it's the calling, because when you're a manager, someone walks in the door and they're trying to sell you something in your store.
Yeah,
it's okay, but it kind of gives that vibe of. But when you call them, that's better. But the one thing that almost never ever works is emailing. You don't start an email directly to the business you're trying to get to, because it'll just go junk mail. If they are not expecting an email, they're not going to respond.
Yeah.
If they're expecting an email, the email is great. If they're not expecting the email, they'll just presume it's straight junk, maybe not even look at it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it also depends on what you're more comfortable with, because every salesperson approaches their strategy differently. A lot of people are better actually in face to face, whereas some are just fine cold calling, like you said. The most success that I have is actually going face to face. And I know you say you do a lot of cold calls on phones and you have more success, but I personally would say if anybody wanted to try it, to go out face to face first. Or one way you could utilize an email is to maybe even do like a three-way cold call. Three-pronged like cold call attack is email, call, and then show up if you really want to press hard on it. I'm not saying like you're going to have a definite, but if someone's interested at the point where you're going to show up in person, they might tell you to like buzz off in the first two. But I've had success really pressing that way. I know a lot of people, they do like follow-up emails. They're really good at scheduling something like that where they said, hey, I talked to you like 2 weeks ago. You still interested, or do you want to talk, or no?
Yeah, and actually, with the cold calling, you made me think. I don't usually make a sell on the initial cold call. My main point is to make a point of contact. Then that opens up to the personal face-to-face where I actually make the sell.
How did you find your biggest client?
Cold call. Actually, kind of. I was walking into I almost said it wrong because I'm in Norway. A soccer match. I almost said football match.
Okay.
But I was walking into a soccer game with my family. They all wanted to go watch a soccer match, so I went in there. And on my way in there, they had some sort of event company set up out front, and they had some high school band doing some band music and some high school cheerleaders doing some cheers and dances and march and whatever, right? And I looked over, I just saw the event company sign on there. It said best event. So like, wait, that's an event company? And just as a quick stop real quick, I'd taken a course, and they're the ones who suggested cold calling event companies and other companies that are good fits to work with. So that popped in mind. I just finished that course.
Yeah.
So I walked over, dropped off my card, asked who to call. They said, oh, cool, this is cool, you're a balloon guy? Yeah. And they emailed me or called me, and they said, hey, you don't talk to me, talk to this guy in charge. So I emailed him and just opened up a contact, a few emails back and forth. I don't, like I said, I don't mind email once that first contact is made. I think that's the key point, is get the first point of contact, either face-to-face or at an actual phone call, and then follow up with an email. Then they're expecting it. Then they're not going to just junk mail it.
Yeah.
But I went back to him, and we went back and forth, and at first all I did was balloon clown, and they didn't have a huge market for balloon clowns. They kept asking me if I did decor, which I didn't at the time. But eventually they called me and said, hey, we need a balloon clown for this store opening. Can you do it? Sure. How many days? I asked something like $1,000 for the 3 days or something like that. Something I didn't expect to get. Like, oh, yeah, no problem. And they really liked my work from there. I went out and learned decoration from that point, after that point. And had decoration, and once they knew I could do decoration, they called, and they set me up with the mall, the biggest mall in Norway, and went from there. And the rest, they say, is history. But
Yeah.
again, call, looking around, keeping your eyes open.
Being that was your most successful client that you've ever gotten, what have you done like now to try and find clients like that?
Targeted cold calling, i.e. gone online, find event companies, call them, and my main point in making the call is arranging a meeting where I can sell them. When I call, I'm always trying to get the meeting. I'm always trying to get the face-to-face. I'm not trying to call and just go, yeah, hey, try to make the sell.
Yeah.
Without seeing them face-to-face. And a large part of that is, in my industry, balloons, it's very visual.
Yeah.
So you have to see what I can do. Especially since when you say I'm a balloon guy, the first question is, hot air balloons?
Yeah, I hear you.
And then the second question is, do you sell balloons? As in, am I a balloon retailer who just sells one balloon at a time?
Yeah.
And to explain what I do, it's really different, especially in Norway. In the States, balloon decor is more common. Norway, not so much.
How would you feel about going to events? I mean, when they start back up again, obviously, and going to events that are happening and approaching those companies and asking them if they need your service. Do you find you would have any success doing that, or?
I've done that to some degree. I've had one or two successes with that where they kind of remembered I dropped off a card. It was a little too late to do the actual event already because it was already underway. I found the person, dropped off a card, and they remembered me a couple of years later. But I find if the event's already underway, it's a little too late.
Right.
For example, it's harder for me to get into a grocery store chain and do balloons just for a regular sales day or regular event. They're not usually going to be doing that. But if I get in on a store opening, then they use me after the store opening for other events.
Yeah.
Kind of weird how that works, but if you can get in on a big event up front before they open, that opens up for all the other events where they come back and get the repeat business.
How would you feel? How would you expand as a business or your services? Or how do you foresee something like that? Or are you okay with just doing like a balloon decor kind of thing?
I'm pretty okay with a focus on balloon decor and entertainment, balloon clown, etc. Maybe expand a little bit, but not too much. The only expansion I'm thinking of is possibly do a web shop where I will sell individual balloons. But the idea is most balloon web shops right now, you have to buy packages of 100, 25, 6 or 7. You can't. I need 15 balloons. You can't just go buy 15 balloons. So I've been kind of mulling this over of expanding into maybe a web shop where you can order 7 balloons, just 7 balloons.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking in that direction a little bit, but primarily balloon decorator focused. And I know it's possible to do great doing that. You just have to think more like a businessman and less like a balloon artist.
Right.
Basically, when I go into my balloon groups, and the very best, the most successful balloon artists out there are not balloon artists by nature. They're businessmen who like balloons.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I know, yeah.
They're not balloon artists who do a business.
Some of our greatest balloon decor companies here, some of the best, most successful ones, are ones that have their own shop, right? And on top of that, as something ancillary or primary or whatever, is that they offer going out and doing an event for you. So they have the shop, and then they also have, hey, come in if you want us to do an event, we could do it. So it's kind of a dual kind of thing. And I've seen that's been successful for some of the balloon decor companies, small businesses here, to compete with like the party stores. You know what I mean? Is that they offer a plus business. Just something. But I know it's expensive buying all that stock, obviously, and being that it's balloons, they have a shelf life. So
and the thing is, just from my experience in the industry as a whole, the shops all do okay, but the ones that do the best are actually primarily online and warehouse based, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So, for example, one of the biggest balloon companies that I know of is one called Balloons Every Day. Yes, this is a free shout out for them. They're out in Texas. But the guy has like a 16-person crew, like 7 or 8 full-size vans. And outside of Corona, I think it was last year, they only had one day for the entire year that they didn't sell a balloon of some sort. That's their goal. Balloons every day. They figured there's a birthday party every single day. Someone's getting married all the time. There's always something happening for balloons. And so he thinks like a businessman. And here's what I mean by thinking like a businessman, not like a balloon artist. A balloon artist goes, hey, I want to make balloons, and, oh, I can make money from this. Businessman is, oh, I like balloons. How do I make this like a business to make it work? And his business model, it's a tiny company for a regular company, huge for balloons standards. Most people only have 3 to 4 employees. Most of that, it's their wife and their kids that work in their balloon shop. It's very small companies in the industry. So having 16 employees is huge. You go into his shop, he's got time clocks, he's got plans, everything's set up. You get this balloon, you got a checklist, check. You add this onto this. He's got a whole section of frames. He has people make and then pre-make them. You just go in, inventory, I need a heart, grab that heart, go out and do it. Very, very organized. He can take a person who's never blown up a balloon in their entire life, and within a few hours, they're producing balloon decor for clients.
Yeah. With
a few hours of training, because he has such a good system in place that he can now take a vacation and the system runs by itself. He doesn't even have to be there for the operation to work.
Yeah, that's a dream for a lot of small business owners, but it takes time to get there. A lot of planning.
Oh yeah. Took him 16, 17, 18 years, something like that.
Yep.
The other guy, he went a little bit different direction. He's got, I think he might have a retail shop. I'm not sure. But he went online. And have you heard of Interfloral?
No, I don't think I have.
Maybe that's just a European thing. I don't know. Yeah. But what it is a whole bunch of florists got together to make an informal kind of chain. I don't know what you call it. It's not really. They're a group that they refer to each other, and they all work together, but they are not a corporation, and they're not a franchise.
Okay.
So what he does is he has this thing called Balloons Online, and pretty much anywhere in all of Australia, you go to this, you find and you order your balloons, and you either go pick it up or have it delivered by the nearest balloon operator in your area that's part of that network.
I'm going to switch gears up a little bit here.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what other businesses do you want to or foresee yourself getting into? Obviously podcasting, but what else?
Well, content creating, podcasting, coaching. I really like to help people get moving and helping them. Teaching, coaching, that's the main focus on business I would want to get into.
Cool.
Definitely want to work with people, help people. Oh, look. My landlord's working outside. Clunk.
That's all right. Okay, well, that was good. You want to wrap this one up?
Sure, let's wrap this one up.
Okay. All right. Everybody, thanks for listening. I'm Jason. On the other line was Isaiah. He has the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast. I have the Atheoz Business Optimization podcast. And we both work together on atheoz.com. Do you want to add anything?
Not right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Remember to get your free half-hour consultation by using our contact page and the links below. If you found value in this content, please give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcast platform you use. It is very helpful if you share this with your friends. If you'd like to directly support this podcast, I have a few donation links in the description, or you can check out the show sponsors. You have been listening to the O'Connor Bootstrap podcast, which is an Atheoz Business Solutions podcast. For our companion podcast, the Atheoz Business Podcast, which is hosted by Jason St.Clair. Our past episodes and related blogs, you can check out our website at www.atheoz.com, which is www.atheoz.com or atheoz.com. Remember, you can also check us out on the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast Facebook group, where you can interact with me and other people who are bootstrappers and entrepreneurs. The link is in the description. Come check us out. I would love to interact with you. And until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. See you later.